Nithyanandam everyone, this is Prasiddha. Welcome back to the Kundalini Yogini, a channel all about Ayurveda, traditional yoga, Hinduism, and spirituality in the modern world. It has been a minute since I've popped on YouTube because my life has been in quite an incubator over the past month. So I thought I would just share a little bit about the experiences that I've been through, but primarily just to give some insight and realizations that I've experienced through these things in my life. And hopefully some of that resonates with you and speaks to your heart and what you might be going through. So I started my Saturn return on September 30th, my 27th birthday. And right around that time, actually about the week before, 2 weeks before that, my dad started getting really sick. He had been on his nth number of time in this cycle. I've faced the death process a lot of times throughout my life via my father, because he struggled with addiction, and after many years of being addicted to alcohol and pills, his body had taken a toll. He had every chronic disease you could name, but ultimately alcohol was what killed him. And he got into liver failure again, and this time it was different though. The doctors weren't doing anything. They were not trying anything to prolong life. He got put on hospice, and we were basically told it's time to make your peace and say your goodbyes. My brother flew home from the East Coast and stayed with me during this time. So and pretty much every day after work or between work, we would go and help caretake my dad and watch him because he couldn't be alone. And pretty much from that period on, he was not fully there, and we watched and witnessed the process of his consciousness leaving the body, and transitioning and withdrawing from the senses. It's a really cosmic and divine process to watch. Also, obviously very emotional, and brings up so many different feelings, like the whole spectrum of emotion, I would say, right, when we're facing death. And during this process, I went through my own spectrum of emotions, and saying goodbyes and getting to say what I wanted to share with my dad. And ultimately what I would say is it only boiled down to completion and love. If you guys have been following my channel for these years, you might know that my relationship with my father was not necessarily a smooth, easy, or normal one, you could say, and went through a lot of trials and tribulations throughout my childhood in particular. But truly by the grace of Paramashiva, the grace of my Guru Swamiji, I was able to clear out so much pain, hurt, suffering, incompletion from me that allowed me to have a renewed relationship with my father that I never thought was possible. So even these past few years of my and my dad's relationship has felt like an extra, like a gift, because I spent most of my life never thinking my dad would be a part of my life, especially in adulthood. So, I was saying my completion, saying my words of gratitude and love to him along with my brother. And it was a really beautiful process to just get to be there for somebody as they were transitioning, and not try to clutch onto them, not try to hold on to the attachment to their name and their form, but to really fully exhale and surrender to the flow of life, right? Surrender to the divine will that is happening. And the life and death cycle is definitely something that does not happen by accident. Birth does not happen by accident, and death does not happen by accident. It's a very, very auspicious thing when it happens, right? And so his karma was finally completed in this body. There was nothing left for him to fulfill. And when he passed, my brother and I had the opportunity to anoint his body and bless him with Ganga water My brother did some Ramanama chanting on his body, as well as vibhuti, kumkum on the third eye, lots of different things, blessings, and for his transition, for his soul's transition. And on top of that, something incredibly beautiful and profound happened, which was that I reached out to Swamiji and I messaged him directly asking for him to liberate my father's soul and to be with him, and he said, I will liberate him. So really, what more is there that one could ask? And yes, some of you guys watching might think like, you know, aren't you suffering? Aren't you in loss, like in pain of this? And yes, part of me is definitely grieving that I won't have a father in form, you know, anymore, somebody I can call or hug or talk to. But there's also a part of me, the capital S self, that knows separation is not possible. That even though he left that form, he's only changed forms. He hasn't gone away or gone anywhere. And that I feel so lovingly held through this process by the divine. Truly, I feel immensely blessed for the support, ultimately, of my guru, but also of Paramashiva filling my heart and filling my mind with understanding, and also the beautiful support systems and beings around me. So it's been a really, really profound, reflective process. And there is this realization that I had about how, talking to my brother, now that my dad's physical form is no longer here, the biomemory that we carry from our parents, right? We carry the physical biomemory, the physical karmas in ourselves from our parents, our mother and our father, biologically. So now that there's no external form of my father, all of that you could say that line, that lineage, those karmas, they're not being lived out through him anymore. They're only being lived out through myself and my brother. And so it's actually a really, really beautiful opportunity to get to take responsibility for those things and really alchemize them to a different level, you know, to a different level than I might have done so far. And one thing I will tell you is death is not real for the true self. Death cannot happen to what we truly are. The only thing that can die is what we are not, what is unreal, what we call Maya, right? Maya is not just illusion. It is illusion on one level, but there's also a definition of it as that which seems real or is real but is not true. It's temporary existence, not something that is forever. And only that which is forever, which cannot be destroyed, points to the truth of what we really are, who we really are. So, you know, facing death head on, especially the death of your parent, so directly, and getting to witness that process and move through that process is an extreme container for self-realization, honestly, for realizing the truth of reality. And I also give myself the grace and the space to feel any feelings that might come up through this process, you know, and I'm not always in the state that I'm in right now. Sometimes I'll, you know, have tears arise. Sometimes I feel my heart hurt, you know, and at that loss in the physical. But I also can't help but come back to what I know to be true, so true inside of my core, which is, you know, everything that I was sharing with you now. And so what a process it's been, what a kickoff to my Saturn return. Death is a doorway. Death is a liberation. And the more that we can make peace and completion with death of those around us, those that we hold most dear, but also of the self, we liberate ourselves from the root, the cause of suffering in life. And so I do invite you, in whatever way and shape that might take for you, whether it's, through your own ego death process as you are on a spiritual seeking path, or whether it's through the death of a loved one, a near and dear one, whether it's the death of a pet, whatever it might be, we have all experienced some level of death. And I invite you to go deeper into that. Look at it head on. Look at death in the eyes, because what you'll find is not what you might think. And it's not as scary as our mind likes to tell us that it is. And in many cultures, especially indigenous cultures around the world, death is not hidden from us. Death is all around you. For example, in India, in Varanasi in particular, when somebody dies, their body is paraded through the streets. Death is not hidden. It's always a part of life. In many other places, if somebody passed away, that body will stay in the house of the family for many days, and people will, be around the body and look at it. In the US, we sanitize and sterilize the process. We hide it behind masks and hospital tape and crematoriums and mortuaries, and we build up an irrational fear of the only guaranteed thing in life, right? So these are just some of my musings from the heart, guys. I have a lot more to share. I have also made a huge move, and that was a whole Leela in and of itself, man. I can't even tell you what has been happening in my life the last few weeks, guys. I can only scratch the surface, but again, I hope that some of this brings you reflection, introspection, love, and comfort as well. And I really appreciate all of you who have shared so much love and support for me. If you have already heard about this happening in my life through my Instagram, and all of you guys for being here and being in this amazing community of such powerful individuals all joining together, to seek truth. So if you want to connect with me deeper, please reach out via Instagram. I am making myself extremely much more available for spiritual coaching in particular. So if you need a reflector, a hand holder, a question asker in your life, I am here. I'm here to facilitate for you. So please do reach out to me either in the comments below, over email, on my Instagram, etc. Sending you guys so much love, and I will see you on the next video.